Good. How are you? Good.
all Catherine's fault.
That.
Usually they don't put our names out, and then I get to sneak in the audience. Nameplate up here.
Do you actually do that?
Yeah, I did.
That happened last time? I thought that, for some reason, I thought that this meeting was like for all the audience. They just did it. Most people are probably excited because they get to see your face for the first time.
I know, right?
Whenever I would get up here, I feel like I was giving like a deposition, like to the federal government.
Doesn't it feel like that?
Yeah.
The microphone and the way it's kind of situated. I actually like this arrangement. I'm usually sitting up on the dais.
Is Trishka sitting up here?
No.
Oh no.
I was just talking to
So it's
you.
really
She's
just
on a high.
it's really just you and I.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Could make what's his name come up here and join us so we have some.
Who's that?
Dolores. But you could come up here and join us so we can have some other people at the table.
Oh, how the game? You didn't tell me how the game went.
They lost.
Is it high school?
Yeah, it's high school, junior.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the reorganization meeting of January 4th, 2017. Madam Clerk, have all noticing requirements been met for this meeting?
They have.
And will you please call the roll?
Ms. Howard?
Here.
Mr. Liverman?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Ms. Crum-Miller?
Here.
Ms. Butler?
Here.
Mr. Simon?
Here.
Mayor Lempert?
Here. And now please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Justice for all. I can report to those present that at the general election held last November, Liz Lempert was elected to serve as mayor of Princeton. Will Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker please come forward to administer the oath of office to Ms. Lempert? The wording.
Give such a long time. All right, and I can report to those present that at the general election held last November, Jenny Crum-Miller and Timothy Quinn were elected to serve on Princeton Council beginning today. Will Susan Crum-Miller please come forward to administer the oath to Ms. Crum-Miller? And will Molly Cryan please come forward to administer the oath of office to Mr. Quinn? And we've been asked to please use the microphone so everybody watching from home can hear.
Thank you.
Okay.
You go back and forth.
Okay. I, Timothy Quinn, do solemnly swear
I, Timothy Quinn, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and in this state under the authority of the people.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the office of councilman
all the duties of the office of councilman
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
And will the clerk now call the roll for 2017?
Ms. Howard?
Here.
Mr. Liverman?
Here.
Mr. Miller? Here. Ms. Butler?
Here.
Ms. Crum Miller?
Here.
Mr. Quinn?
Here.
Mayor Lempert?
Here. I do want to welcome some of our special guests here tonight. We have Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker, County Executive Brian Hughes, Freeholder Pat Colavita, Freeholder Andrew Kuntz, Freeholder Lucy Walter, County Surrogate Diane Jarofsky, County Clerk Paula Solomie Cavella, Freeholder Sam Frisbee, and former mayors Phyllis Marchand and Marvin Reed. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I will now accept nominations for the office of Council President.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is an honor. I served this past year as Council President. It was a great job. I loved it. The responsibilities were, I would just like to say that the town of Princeton is just unbelievable on how they respond and how they support this council. I would like to nominate Councilwoman Ginny Crumiller to fill the position of Council President for the year 2017. Jenny brings a lot to the table. She's an honest person, she's a caring person, she's a trustworthy person, and I think that this council can stand behind Jenny in your absence, and also while you're here. So that's my nominee is Jenny Cromwell for council president.
And is there a second?
Mayor, I'd like to second that nomination. I know Jenny can build on the good work done by Lance this past year. Thank you very much, Lance. And I would like to also say I think that Jenny is smart, dedicated, fair, and brave. Her commitment to transparency, to fairness, and to decency will serve us well in the next year. Somebody's calling.
Thank you.
Great. And do I have a motion to close the nominations? Is there a second? Second. Moved by Mr. Miller, seconded by Ms. Howard. All in favor of closing the nominations?
Aye.
And, sorry, my script is confusing here. All in favor of the nomination of Ms. Krummeller for council president?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Congratulations, Jenny.
Thank you.
And now, I once again will ask Susan Krummeller to come administer the oath to Jenny Krummeller.
Can you hold this too?
I don't like them on this side.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I, Jenny Crummeller, do solemnly swear
I, Jenny Kremler, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of council president
perform all of the duties of the office of council president
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Come up here and sign.
Congratulations, Jenny.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we now come to our consent agenda, and we will be removing one item from the consent agenda, 17-18, the resolution adopting the 2017 schedule of meetings, and we'll be taking that up at our regular council meeting on Monday night. Are there any other items anybody would like removed from the consent agenda? And if not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Liverman and seconded by Mr. Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, excellent. And now we move on to this evening's remarks. I will start. I just wanted to thank Assemblyman Zwicker for swearing me in tonight. I want to thank the incredible staff we have here at the municipality that help this town be what it is and help us up here look good. And I also want to thank my colleagues for making this such a rewarding experience. And I know everybody up here is motivated by their love of the town, even if we don't always agree 100%. I think we can all agree that we live in the best town in the world, and our work is both challenging and incredibly rewarding. And I also want to thank my family. My husband Ken and my daughter Ella are here with me tonight. My older daughter Maddie is at college, but here in spirit. And I wanted to publicly thank you for, I know my being mayor requires real sacrifice on your part, so thank you for that. And I know the second term, everyone's going into it with their eyes open, so I especially want to thank you. 4 years ago, we gathered together in this room, united as Princetonians, to usher in our newly consolidated government and celebrate a milestone in our town's history. With consolidation, Princeton has become a model of more efficient and effective government. Working together, we've exceeded the financial savings target set by the Consolidation Commission and the Transition Task Force, over $3 million of taxpayer savings a year, while significantly reducing the size of our municipal staff without sacrificing services. Princeton was once again rated AAA in 2016, making us one of only 6 municipalities in the state of New Jersey to receive the highest bond rating from both Moody's and S&P. Beyond financial savings, we've been better able to respond to challenges, whether digging out after a winter blizzard or building productive relationships with the school district, the university, and other community institutions. Today, as we gather to reorganize our 4-year-old government in the annual tradition, we face a new set of challenges on the national front. After the recent divisive election, more residents than ever are energized and eager to engage at the local level to protect the progressive values our town holds dear. We are home to many of the best and brightest minds and benefit from a community-minded spirit of giving back. I'm grateful to all the exceptional volunteers on our boards and commissions whose expert advice helps the council make better informed decisions. This past year, we created two new commissions, Princeton's first Youth Advisory Committee to give official voice to the high school students in our community, and a new Civil Rights Commission to develop mutual understanding and prevent discrimination. We have focused on issues that impact the quality of daily life within our community, with an increasing emphasis on the use of updated zoning practices to preserve neighborhood character. In recent years, Princeton has become one of the top 10 municipalities in the state of New Jersey for its volume of construction. In 2016 alone, Princeton's construction office issued 2,427 permits, 2,043 certificates of approval, and conducted 11,087 inspections. While this level of activity is a sign of our economic vitality and attractiveness as a place to live and operate a business, it also calls for structured planning and a vigorous effort to preserve the very sense of place that makes Princeton so special. In 2016, Council launched an initiative to address the spate of teardowns and out-of-scale, out-of-character new construction, and we've already adopted many of the first round of recommendations. The Neighborhood Zoning Initiative will continue in the coming year and be shaped by further discussions as the Planning Board completes a comprehensive re-examination of the master plan. In 2016, the Council recognized the Witherspoon-Jackson neighborhood as Princeton's 20th Historic District. The designation came after an outpouring of support from neighborhood residents who shared their stories about the personal impact of Princeton's history of segregation, the perseverance of the African American community, and the significance of the neighborhood to their lives. After the vote, resident Leighton Newland said, "For the first time in my life, I feel like I'm not just from Princeton, but I belong here." Princeton's sense of place is perhaps most famously captured by our tree-lined, historic, and authentic downtown. In 2016, the American Planning Association awarded Nassau Street its coveted People's Choice designation as one of the great places in America. Princeton has received widespread recognition for its quality of life, with Nassau Street and the Central Business District as part of the appeal. This past year was no exception. Wallet Hub gave Princeton the overall best spot in the ranking of over 1,200 small cities and towns, and the financial website Smart Asset named us the best college town to live in for a second year in a row. Keeping the Central Business District picturesque and thriving requires maintenance and investment. Last year, in an effort championed by Councilwoman Jo Butler, we developed new design standards for Nassau Street and applied for funding to implement the improvements. In the coming year, we will review parking ordinances, adjust parking meter rates, and complete a parking study of the downtown area with the help of a $65,000 grant. We've also been turning to professors and students at Princeton University to bring their latest research and thinking to bear on civic challenges. The students benefit by having real-world problems to work on, and the town benefits from new perspectives and innovative approaches. The project team One Roof, for example, is using the latest in design thinking theory to simplify and humanize the bureaucratic process of applying for affordable housing. In another effort to solicit new ideas, we've held our third municipal hackathon, where computer programmers and designers most new to the political process devise creative solutions to municipal challenges. Our staff is consistently looking to adopt best practices and be strategic about how best to deploy limited resources. This past year, Princeton's Police Department implemented de-escalation strategies and use of force training, launched raids online, providing real-time crime reporting for citizens, and collaborated with researchers at Rutgers to more comprehensively analyze our department's traffic stop data. The Department of Public Works embarked on a strategic operations review, and Corner House began a 5-year strategic plan. The Princeton Health Department, with the help of Councilwoman Heather Howard, had an exceptional year, mounting a vigorous response to the Zika virus in partnership with municipal health departments around the state and medical providers in the community. The department was active in educating the public about transmission risks and distributing over 1,000 brochures in both English and Spanish on how to keep yards mosquito-free. Reflecting a national shift in best practices towards road design, Princeton adopted a complete streets policy in 2012 that aims to make streets safe and accessible for all users, including bicyclists, pedestrians, and those with disabilities. We have continued this past year to systematically review transportation policies through this lens. Councilwoman Jenny Krumiller, now Council President Jenny Krumiller, spearheaded the restructuring of our transportation-related committees, placing them under the umbrella of the newly named Complete Streets Committee, and convened an additional committee tasked with recommending traffic calming measures designed for maximum effectiveness in Princeton. In the past year, Princeton was recognized by the Greater Mercer TMA with the Safe Routes to School Gold Award and a Smart Workplace Gold Award, and the Mount Lucas Road Project, which featured bike lanes and an improved pathway system, won Project of the Year Award from the New Jersey Society of Municipal Engineers. Pedestrian and bicycle safety improved with the installation of rapid flashing beacons on Washington Road at the Canal Path crossing, thanks to the county, Route 206, and Witherspoon Streets, and with the installation of a new traffic signal at the Mountain and Elm intersection. We completed a bicycle master plan for a fully connected bicycle network of on-street facilities and off-road trails, and will be incorporating it into the master plan this upcoming year. Princeton also received a grant to establish a joint bike share program with Princeton University. Last spring, the town rolled out a new 21-passenger freebie shuttle bus paid for by Princeton University. The shuttle has grown in popularity with close to 30,000 rides logged between January and October. We also erected 8 new bus shelters with solar panels to power LED lights, including a flagship bus shelter at Palmer Square. Safe pedestrian and bike facilities, as well as convenient public transit, are especially important to our seniors. Princeton was the first community in New Jersey designated as age-friendly by the AARP and the World Health Organization. And in 2016, we worked with the Princeton Senior Resource Center to put together an action plan to prioritize our seniors' most pressing needs, many of which involve transportation. Environmental sustainability has been another top priority. Thanks to Councilman Bernie Miller, we moved forward with a solar project on the old landfill at River Road that will generate energy to power the adjacent sewer plant. We are looking to place another solar array on the roof of the Spring Street Garage, where Sustainable Princeton recently obtained a grant to help defray the cost of 2 electric vehicle charging stations. We commissioned a report that will guide efforts in controlling invasive species in our open space lands. Our Shade Tree Commission drafted a more robust shade tree ordinance and is developing a plan to manage the emerald ash borer impact on our tree canopy. In 2017, we will lay the groundwork for a climate action plan. Princeton has a proud history of working to ensure an economically diverse community and of building affordable housing long before it was required by the state. We are currently in court to determine our obligation for the next decade, but in the meantime, continue to make progress. Last spring, we cut the ribbon on a new group home for adults with developmental disabilities. Avalon Bay will offer 56 affordable housing units, and the university's Merwick-Stanworth development will offer another 56 affordable units open to the entire community. The Affordable Housing Department organized financial literacy workshops to help residents, and Councilman Lance Liverman is working with Princeton University on a local jobs program to be rolled out in the next couple months. Our own Princeton Recreation Department employs 175 people, including summer help, most of whom are Princeton residents, including many Princeton High School students and faculty members. These jobs created more than $365,000 worth of wages in 2016. With the national elections behind us, new and serious challenges confront us, especially for vulnerable communities such as immigrant groups. Recognizing the need, our Human Services Department quickly convened a community meeting at the library immediately after the election, as well as follow-up sessions at the Arts Council, led by a senior attorney at the ACLU. Human Services also played a key role in helping to resettle 2 refugee families who are being sponsored by local groups. And Human Services extended its reach by placing a master's level social work intern in a public library where she provides satellite services to those in need of support. We've also strengthened our community ties through creative culture and the arts. We brought additional art into the municipal building with the unveiling of the Margaret Johnson piece Where, and the Arts Council's Interwoven Stories Community Stitching Project, a portion of which will be installed on a permanent basis in the hallway later this year. We're also partnering with the Arts Council and a local business to bring back Princeton's Parklet this spring. 2016 saw the retirements and moving on of many beloved longtime employees. We said goodbye to Deputy Administrator Kathy Monzo, Engineer Bob Kaiser, Clerk Linda McDermott, Affordable Housing Coordinator Christy Peacock, Health Inspector Randy Carter, and police officers Carol Raymond, Ken Riley, Steve Riccatello, Marshal Provost, and Lieutenant Bob Courier, as well as Raymond Jolly and Jason Morgan from Public Works. We welcome Jeff Laux to our engineering department, Constantina Sinsifas to health, Ian Marr to Public Works, and Ryan McDermott to dispatch. And we celebrated the promotions of Jeff Grosser to assistant administrator, Deanna Stockton to head engineer, Kathy Brzezinski to municipal clerk, John Buchari and Jeff Marr to lieutenants, Mervyn Arana and Matt Sullivan to sergeant, and Barrett Gehring to captain. On council, we said goodbye to Patrick Simon and are very excited to welcome our new colleague, Tim Quinn. I also want to thank Lance for being a terrific council president and congratulate Jenny. I look forward to working with you as council president this coming year. And while we have accomplished a tremendous amount, there is still more work to be done. Council will be back here for our regular meeting on Monday night, and again the following night on Tuesday for our annual goal-setting meeting. I expect we will have another busy year. In this uncertain time, we have the ability to rebuild trust in civic institutions by succeeding locally and to serve as a model for others. At a conference in Washington, D.C. last month, I was thrilled to hear that the White House had shared best practices from Princeton as an example of how to implement the President's Task Force report on 21st century policing. I'm excited about the work we are doing to position Princeton for a healthy future and to ensure we remain walkable, bikeable, affordable, with great restaurants and shopping, a culture of intellectualism and innovation, a strong sense of place, and a connection to one another, rooted in the knowledge that we are stronger because of our diversity, not in spite of it. Thank you. And now I turn to Ms. Krummuller for the Council President's remarks.
Thank you, Mayor Lempert, for your excellent recap. We have much to be proud of. And thank you for my colleagues for your confidence in me. I'm super excited to be Council President. I'd like to recognize family members here. My mother, Darlene Crum, my sister, Julie Crum from Virginia, my daughter, Susan Crummiller-esque from Brooklyn, and my husband, John Crummiller. Thank you for supporting me. I thank everyone for being here today and for those watching on TV. We have active, involved residents who raise the bar for governance and make Princeton the special town it is. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize my colleagues, starting off with Patrick Simon, who left us. Patrick gave in getting it.
I'm going to help you here.
Oh. In getting our getting our new government off to a good start. He is a person of integrity and honor, and we will miss him. I thank Liz Lempert for her hard work and leadership. She's been a great mayor, and she represents us well. She's navigated us through consolidation with flying colors, and I'm glad we have her for another term. I thank Bernie Miller for being our elder statesman, while also being an early adopter and an advocate for innovation. For example, Bernie is leading the effort to convert Princeton's old dump into a solar field. Bernie wakes up every day and asks his digital personal assistant what his schedule for the day is. Ask him about it. I thank Lance Liverman for being Mr. Congeniality of Princeton. Everyone knows and loves Lance. He's generous and helpful to both residents and colleagues. He has deep roots in our community, having grown up here. We have only 2 degrees of separation from everyone in town and will be better connected council because of it. I thank Jo Butler for her work ethic and her high standards. It should be noted that we as a council agree on most things, and that's great, but we don't want it too much. I give Jo the most likely to disagree award, and I'm grateful for her respectful, intelligent questioning that makes us a strong team. I thank Heather Howard for being so keen, manifest in her ability to talk a mile a minute. As liaison to Human Services, she's been able to navigate some tough waters when anti-immigration people from all over the country attacked her. We're lucky to have her. And last but not least, our newest council person. Tim, in theory, we've only just begun, but you have been the most diligent candidate and councilperson-elect I've ever seen. You have come to every single meeting, and you are now starting out on top. I thank you for that, and I look forward to working with you. Turning to council business for the coming year. I did it again. Turning to council business for the coming year, I'll touch on 3 issues: protecting neighborhoods, speeding, and public works facilities. Public works is the simplest to talk about. Frankly, we need an upgrade. I don't know anyone who has actually seen our facilities who disagrees with this statement, and in the coming year, I'm thinking perhaps a press tour is in order. Please know that we will plan carefully and frugally. And speeding. We don't think of Princeton as being a high-crime area, and thankfully, it's a very safe town. But I believe we have an epidemic of low-level crime, speeding, that we tend to overlook, but that degrades our quality of life. We might not think of it as a crime. I admit I do it myself. But we should change that, and I want to make Princeton a town where people like me with a tendency to speed are not tempted. A town where speeding is the exception. We're undertaking a traffic calming project with the help of our head engineer, Deanna Stockton, that is looking at ways to make our roads physically less hospitable to speeding. We will continue to work with our police department on creative ways besides just giving out more tickets to reduce speeding. For instance, they've been made regular announcements about where speed traps are located, which not only reduces speeding in said area, but raises consciousness about speeding. We are also using our electronic Your Speed Is signs, which are known to reduce speeding. We now have 7 of them. If you want one on your street, contact our traffic officer, Sergeant Tom Murray, to get on the waiting list, or you can contact me. As for our neighborhoods, the scale and character of our old-fashioned neighborhoods are central to our town's identity, and we should protect that. The Planning Board's neighborhood zoning initiative is ongoing. I also hope to address an issue that threatens the essential quality of neighborhoods, which is keeping houses residential for real neighbors to live in, rather than allowing them to turn into offices. This means repealing the rule that makes it easier to get approvals for non-residential uses in residential zones. Again, I want to thank you all for being here and for listening. It's going to be a great year locally, if not nationally, and I'm grateful for the opportunity we have here in Princeton.
Councilman Miller?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll begin with a very brief announcement. Just in case any of you are wondering, I haven't yet been asked to join the Trump administration. And I would guess that none of my colleagues up here have either. This annual reorganization meeting gives those of us who are your representatives an opportunity to look in the rearview mirror and summarize what we believe that we've accomplished. We can then look forward and see what we believe the challenges are that we face as a community in the future. My colleagues have done and will do an excellent job of summarizing what we as an elected body have achieved in the 4 years that we've been a municipality. They will also identify the major challenges that they believe we will face in the future in our community. In the next few minutes, I'd like to follow a different script. What I will address in the time allotted to me are the 4 areas that I believe will require action by council in 2017 if we are to fulfill our responsibility to those who have put their faith in us by electing us to office. Looking forward is always accompanied by a degree of uncertainty. Some of what I'll describe is far enough along that it can be seen with certainty, but most of it is less certain and will require council to act and appropriate the funds to get the job done. In the highly certain category are the municipality's first 2 alternative energy projects. I'm pleased to report that our initiative to build a solar plant on the closed municipal landfill on River Road will have received all of its permits by the end of this month, and we will have a virtual and symbolic groundbreaking this spring. It will be symbolic, as I'm sure that the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection wouldn't look very kindly on us breaking through the cap that is over this closed brownfield site. When it's operational, the River Road Solar Plant will provide more than 30% of the peak electricity needs of the Stony Brook Regional Sewage Authority at a cost that is less than what the authority now pays for electricity, and will also produce a small revenue stream for the municipality. Our second such project, as the mayor mentioned, is a solar array plant over the top deck of the municipal garage, and that will go out for bids this spring, and the bids will determine the feasibility of the project. If built, this project will generate about 30% of the peak electricity demand of the Princeton Public Library at a cost that is less than now paid by the library, as well as provide a highly visible demonstration of sustainability in the heart of our downtown. Once the bids have been received, it will be up to council to determine if the garage solar project is feasible and should be built. The needs of our Public Works Department have been discussed and studied by our governing bodies going back to the time well before consolidation, and as Council President Crum-Miller pointed out, they are not yet met. Over the last decade or longer, the governing bodies of this municipality have commissioned many studies on the need for a new public works facility. Yet, unlike our neighbors, we continue to operate our Public Works Department out of 2 facilities that are obsolete and inadequate for the job. The construction of a new public works facility has been frustrated by the high cost of building a new public works facility and our inability to find a suitable location. The most recent study by our staff recommended that the municipality no longer continue to search for a suitable site for a new public works facility, and that we move ahead with the upgrading of our existing John Street and Harrison Street public works facilities to correct the deficiencies in these 2 facilities at an estimated cost of about $1.8 million. This recommendation was reviewed and was endorsed by the Public Works Committee of Council. Continuing with the need of the Public Works Department, each year Council approves the purchase of specialized and expensive equipment for use by our Public Works Department. For example, Council recently approved the purchase of 2 specialized Public Works vehicles costing over $300,000. Unlike nearby municipalities, Princeton does not have the facilities to store this high-value equipment when it's not in use, and the useful life of this equipment is reduced by exposure to the elements. For years, we've discussed the need for a facility to store our out-of-season equipment and have determined that a large, partially heated equipment storage shed could be built on the Municipal River Road property for about $2.6 million. This facility could extend the life of our high-value equipment and pay for itself in savings over the life of the building. Council has heard these arguments before, but has directed the Public Works Department to further study the cost and has not appropriated the funds needed to construct the out-of-season storage shed. The need for an out-of-season storage building and to correct the deficiencies in our John and Harrison Street public work facilities is clear. It's now up to council to provide the leadership and the funding to upgrade our existing public works facilities and construct an out-of-season equipment storage building in 2017. As we are now all aware, the emerald ash borer has been found in Princeton, and this infestation will probably result in the loss of all of our ash trees over the next decade. Our Princeton Shade Tree Commission, working with our municipal arborist and aided by a few student volunteers, have done an outstanding job of identifying the ash trees in the municipal right-of-way and have started the job of identifying the ash trees adjacent to walkways and trails in our municipal parks. The Shade Tree Commission will also prioritize the ash trees in the right-of-way for removal or treatment based on their size, age, and state of health. Ash trees are notorious for drying out and being a hazard after they die. It will be the job of council to appropriate the funds for the removal of those trees in the municipal right-of-way in order that they will not constitute a hazard to pedestrians and vehicles. In the coming year, there will be not much competition for the attention of council. I've identified 4 areas where I believe action must be taken by council in 2017. As always, there is uncertainty with anything that requires the commitment of funds by council. For this reason, I ask my fellow members of council to remove this uncertainty and provide the funding to move these projects ahead in 2017. I'd like to close with one thing that I can say with certainty. That is that I will not be a candidate for re-election to council in November 2017. When I leave office a year from now, it will have been an honor to have served the citizens of Princeton as your representative to local government for more than 15 years. I've never viewed this as a career, but as a vocation, and I thank you for giving me the privilege of doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Benny. Mr. Lerman.
Thank you. I'd like to personally thank everyone for coming out today. I'd like to thank my colleagues, Mayor Lampert, Councilwoman President Jenny Crumiller, Councilman Bernie Miller, Councilwoman Joe Butler, Councilwoman Heather Howard, and Councilman Tim Quinn. And also thank our former councilman, Patrick Simon, who's sitting in the audience, who's done a terrific year, a job this year. I'd also like to thank the staff. It's easy for us to sit up here and to smile and to wave and to shake your hand, but if it wasn't for our staff, they make our job a lot easier, and sometimes they don't get the credit that they need. So I just want to thank the staff of Princeton for stepping up and doing what they can to support us and the town. And also because my wife normally doesn't ever come, my wife came today. LaTanya, you like to stand? No one ever knows who my wife is. But this is my wife. My wife's just sitting right there. I love my wife. I love my 3 daughters. And I had to thank them. It has been a challenging year, but a very productive year. And I'm excited and on fire for the year 2017. The council has positioned Princeton in a very good direction. We have stayed the course on our debt plan. We have stayed the course on our hiring obligation. We have stayed the course on our transparency to the public. We've stayed the course with community policing. We've stayed the course to responding to the public on the many complaints and concerns we hear on a weekly basis. I'm excited going into 2017. Princeton, as stated, is a desirable and lovable town. We care for our babies as well as our seniors. We emphasize and work with all groups of people in town, and we truly believe we are a welcoming town to all. I've tried to tell residents that I love the town because there are no big I's or little U's here. I love our town because we are inclusive. I love our town because we listen and always try to better the way we conduct business. We're not perfect. And yes, we have our faults. But we also have a spirit to overcome our mistakes or our shortcomings. And this is what I love, because I call this desire to succeed Princeton magic. You see, the Princeton magic is contagious, and it spreads when folks see that you are trying. That is why we have hundreds of terrific volunteers on our boards and our commissions. The Princeton magic directs your path. It does not accept no for an answer. The Princeton magic is what led to the Witherspoon-Jackson becoming a historical district this past year. The Princeton magic is why we have more than 2 hot meal feeding places for our residents in need. One at the United Methodist Church on Wednesday night and the other at First Baptist Church on Tuesday nights. Both of these feeding centers are through the generosity of the Trenton Area Soup Kitchen and have committed volunteers. The Princeton magic is why we lead many towns in our affordable housing numbers. The Princeton magic is why we value everyone. I'm so happy that we have reestablished our working Civil Rights Commission. It is truly a terrific group of volunteers ready to work. I'm happy that this past year we've established a Youth Advisory Commission. We will soon be hearing some of the terrific data gathering they have been doing concerning youth needs in Princeton. We continue to have one of the best youth leadership design programs in the country, and these programs are operated through Corner House under the leadership of the Executive Director, Gary de Blasio. So many of our youth are struggling, and their mental well-being is our top priority. Corner House has stayed on point and on course in helping mitigate these concerns. I'm grateful to be able to represent the town of Princeton. I'll still be the liaison to Princeton Affordable Housing, Princeton Alcohol and Drug Alliance, Corner House, Princeton Housing Authority, and the Youth Advisory Board. I will continue to serve on personnel and public safety committees, and I'm honored to serve as Princeton Fire Commissioner. So let's all of us find a little Princeton magic for 2017. Thank you.
Just for the record, I'd like to state that I don't disagree with one single thing that's been said so far this evening. So far. Friends like that, who needs enemies? As we look to 2017, at the risk of stating the obvious, we're entering a period of great uncertainty at the national level. The early indications are that much of what President-elect Trump intends to do will be at odds with the wishes of the overwhelming majority of Princetonians, and I expect that we, as a governing body, will be called upon to address issues that aren't being addressed at the state or national level, or that are being addressed in a way that is at odds with our sensibilities. For example, we believe in climate change, and while our local efforts are important, they are no substitute for the Paris Agreement. At the local level, everything we do comes at a cost to our residents and our businesses. Princeton often tries to punch above its weight when it comes to big issues, which is admirable. However, as the demands increase, I believe our challenge will be to think in new ways about how we can be effective, perhaps partnering with other communities, and being honest about where we can have an impact, the most impact, at a cost that makes sense for our residents, while still being able to address the many challenges that have been outlined by the speakers before me. With that, I'd like to acknowledge some of the ways in which we've had a positive impact in 2016, and to do so, I'm going to borrow a top 10 format from another former Hoosier, David Letterman. So number 10, I'd like to welcome Tim Quinn to the dais. Tim and I worked together along with Councilman Miller back in 2004 when we moved into the new library, and we envisioned transforming our cozy benefit into a grand community event for the benefit of the library. So here's hoping that all our collaborations are as visionary and successful. Number 9, I'd like to recognize and thank the volunteers at Princeton Special Sports. The work they do to support an underserved population in our community is a labor of love, and our community is better for it. Number 8, I'd like to give a shout out to DPW. Bob Huff, are you there? And I want to call everyone's attention, while we have a few people in the audience, we don't always have people in the audience, I'd like to call your attention to the leaf and brush schedule that arrived in your mail last week. Please dig it out from your holiday cards and review it. Your cooperation can save us money, improve the environment, and make our streets safer. In the past, we've been reluctant to enforce our ordinances because there's been the sense that perhaps we haven't communicated as clearly as we should have. Those days are over. This is just excellent, really. Everybody needs to find it. It's incredibly clear, and we need your cooperation. Number 7, this summer we made incredible progress in eradicating our invasive species in our open space. As a result, the council passed a do not plant resolution that is now on our website. We will be distributing it to nurseries and landscapers, and I encourage you to review it, the list, before you start your spring planting. Again, you can make a difference. Number 6, I want to acknowledge the often unsung work of our engineering department and the impact they have on our everyday life. We improved Mount Lucas, Edge Hill, Valley Road, and numerous sidewalks and intersections. We saw the passing of the baton, the engineering baton, to the very capable Deanna Stockton, and we look forward to continued progress on our streets, sewers, and sidewalks. I'd like to thank Princeton University for their partnership in many matters, but particularly for their cooperation on the Butler track zoning. We had a positive, productive meeting with neighbors late in the year, and it is my fervent hope that we can complete the zoning soon. I also want to compliment the university on the new lighting on the Alexander pathway. I think it looks great, and it will make that much safer. Number 4, I'd like to welcome our newest residents at Avalon Bay. It has been a long, not always smooth process, but as the final touches are being put on the project, I look forward to getting to know our new residents. Number 3, as always, I want to give a shout out to our recreation department. Under Ben Stenz's capable guidance, over 115,000 people used the pool this summer. We had over 8,000 people registered for programs or events, and in collaboration with other community groups, we offered financial assistance to about 109 Princeton families. Number 2, I want to give a shout out to our police force. They started the year with a very public, ripped from the headlines incident and proved themselves to be up to the challenge. I want to commend Chief Sutter and the entire force for their willingness to embrace change and for their commitment to the welfare and safety of all our residents. And last but not least, number 1, now I'm going to get choked up. I want to bid a fond farewell to our colleague Patrick Simon. We'll miss his hard work, his attention to detail, his institutional memory, and his high standards. We're all better because of Patrick, and quite frankly, we will all need to step up our game to fill the void left by his absence. It's been a great pleasure to work with him and get to know him, and I hope he won't be a stranger. So Happy New Year, and let's get to work.
Thank you, Mayor. Our colleagues have done such a wonderful job highlighting our accomplishments and identifying our challenges going forward that I think I have remarks that I'll be putting into the record, Kathy, that I will get you. And I just want to state, though, I really want to congratulate the mayor and Jenny and Tim for their reelection. Wish Patrick well as he moves to the audience, and I hope he doesn't become a stranger, and say that I look forward to continuing to work to ensure that we are a welcoming community and that we can be a model of progressive, inclusive, and effective government here in Princeton. Thank you.
Don't you have something more to say, Councilwoman? Good evening. I would like to preface my remarks by thanking Patrick Simon for his service to Princeton, which extended far beyond his service on council. In his farewell remarks on December 19th, Mr. Simon spoke of how he was aware every day of the great responsibility and trust placed in him by the people of Princeton. It is a feeling I'm beginning to fully understand, and it is one that I find energizing. So it is with a great deal of humility that I begin work with this council and our mayor, fully aware of what a distinct privilege it is to be in a position to advance the greater good for all in our town. I feel very fortunate to be serving in a town where an overwhelming majority believe that government has a vital role in improving the lives of residents. Of course, many who will soon have complete control of the federal government feel otherwise. For me, that makes acting at the local level all the more important. I look forward to working with our professionals, boards, and commissions to protect the character of our neighborhoods, to advance cycling as a healthful, environmentally friendly alternative to motor vehicle usage, to promote sustainability as a cost-saving greater good, to ensure that our tax dollars continue to be wisely spent, to look for new ways to collaborate in order to realize savings and improve services, and to work to have a website that makes it easier for all of our stakeholders to interact with our municipality. I'm honored to continue my work on the Princeton Planning Board as the mayor's designee, and I'm excited to be council's liaison to the new Civil Rights Commission, a veritable all-star team reflecting the great diversity of background, experience, and expertise in our community. My longtime friend, Charlie Stile, who lives in Princeton. Some of you know him as the state's senior political columnist. I know him as a guy who I went to Trenton State with. He sent me a text today about our Civil Rights Commission and said, wow. He said, just about the only person missing from the commission is Congressman John Lewis. Throughout last year, while I was seeking my party's endorsement and running in the primary and general elections, I was attending council meetings, sitting in the back row, back there where Wilma Solomon is now, staying all the way through the consent agenda, listening and learning. Many people leaving the meeting who were not staying through to the consent agenda would whisper the same question in my ear. Are you sure you're ready for this? My answer was always the same as it is tonight. Yes, I'm ready. With the full support of my family, my wife Mary Chemris, and our son George Quinn, I'm eager to get started. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And now I'd like to open up for any comments from the public, for anybody who wants to say anything. And if not, before we adjourn, I do want to invite everybody to the reception down the hall, which you will pass as you're exiting. So please don't exit right away. Come and join us. And I want to thank the PCDO for hosting the reception. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Oh, I thought it was so long. That was very good. I wondered, have you put that in so we're now locked in? Okay. Congratulations. It's because you're boring calls. Right. Thank you. very much. Hi. Nice to meet you. Hey. My oath seems shorter than it normally is. As like a one paragraph instead of a two paragraph. Because there's usually like an I do further solemnly swear. Yeah. And I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, we're going in there.
No, it's in this building.
It's just in this building down the hall.